My goal for this project initially was to make a mellow, acoustic-oriented album, very, I guess, minimalistic. It was initially the concept. I always have kind of a concept or an idea of what I want the album to be like when I go in the studio. It never turns out like that. I usually spend the first day in the studio kicking and fighting to cling to that idea. And because you're in the studio and it's like, this isn't what I planned. This is not what I envisioned. This is not. And then so you can either cling to that or you can let go of it and go with what's happening. And I always let go of it and go with what's happening, because otherwise you're going to waste time and just like money and combat against a possible cool thing. So once I let go of the idea and accept what's happening and go with that, then the album becomes what it is. And that's always been my experience in the studio. And the first few albums, I didn't know that. The last album, I remembered it like halfway through the day. I was like, oh, right, this is how the recording process goes for me. This album, I kept telling myself that going into the studio. I was like, this is what's going to happen. You can't freak out when it happens. But I didn't think it was going to be as extreme as it was. And so I ended up making a full band album. It's full instrumentation.
Wow.
Yeah. There's 2 tunes that are mostly acoustic, and the songs are very much the same as they were demoed. There's a couple of other songs that are full band that are kind of the same as they were demoed. And then there's a handful of tunes that are complete 180s from the demo. Like, demo was like acoustic folk singer, pretty, whatever, and then the recording is like a different key, a different groove. Like, the lyrics are the same, but everything else is different. So, yeah, like, there's no question that the album always grows out of the team that I assembled to make it. And I assembled this team with the idea of a quiet acoustic album in mind. And when we got to the studio, the upright bass that was at the studio that we brought to the studio was messed up and not really playable. So that immediately went out the window. And I had thought about like upright bass, the whole, anyway, so that was gone. And then, a bunch of factors and variables just happened that kind of steer it towards where it goes. And then the producer I hired, my friend Steve Mariner from Monkey Junk, he was a very creative force, and more so in the studio. He gets on a roll, and you can either cling to your ego and say no 100 times a day, or you can let go of that and realize that there's some creative stuff happening and run with it and see what happens. And that's more the avenue I kind of visit, because I'm not hiring these people because they're not good at their job. I'm hiring them because they're exceptional at their job. And why would I hire them to do that job and then say, no, I don't want to do that? That's an ego choice that I'm just not willing to make. So I would rather go for it and be creative and see what happens. And those people, I trust their skills and talents. And it's scary, and you might do different stuff, and you might think, oh my God, no one's going to like this or whatever. But at the end, I'm always, I listen back to the album, and I'm really excited by it. It's really cool, and it sounds new and fresh to me. It's not the album I was going to make, but it's the album I made, and I'm okay with it. And so in the end, I feel like I made the right decisions.
Right on.
I think, anyway. We'll see. I made the right decisions for art. I made a good piece of art. Will it be a good piece of commerce? Probably not.
Ashford is my home. While an Ashford is my home. While an Ashford is my home. I don't mind to be alone. While an Ashford is my home. Spend my night in a stranger's bed. Spend my night in a stranger's bed. Spend my night in a stranger's bed. Come the morning I will have fled. Spend my night in a stranger's bed. Just one thing can make me change. Just one thing can make me change. Just one thing to make me change. She won't take my diamond ring. Just one thing can make me change. Guess I'll move on down that line. Guess I'll move on down that line. Guess I'll move on down that line. Leaving lonely but I don't mind. Guess I'll move on down that line. Whiteland asphalt is my home. Whiteland asphalt is my home. I don't mind